Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Dangling Carrot Podcast. I'm here with my good friend, your man, the hat guy. If you want a hat, look at his hat. Look at it. And if you got locks, it can come out the top. This is my man, Jermaine Hughes in Oakland, California. Oakland native. You went to Tech? Did you go to Tech?
No, went to Skyline.
You went to Skyline? I thought I took you for a Tech guy. You didn't grow up in North Oakland?
Nope. East Oakland.
Oh, okay. Well, he is a deep East Oakland native, and we're just glad to have him on, man. How you doing?
I am good. I was just letting you know we had just took a quick little nap. And so now the baby is feeding, and everyone is chill for the time being right now.
Oh, should I say he has a newborn? So he's a 2-time father. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the stats goes on, man. So we understand those naps, and those naps be good because the baby be sleeping, you be sleeping, and so
Right.
everything feels right. But man, we are on here because not on Dangling Carrot Podcast do we get people who have it all together that already got the whatever 7-figure business or who's killing it and wherever they are. But we got the people that are on their journey right now, and that's not chasing distractions, but after one goal. And tonight, man, we're gonna talk to all the dads that's out there who had a newborn baby, and then they ate the meals that their wives ate, and the door dashes and everything else like that, and then we end up getting dad bods, right? Because we were sleeping and eating and sleeping and eating. But we have somebody here that was sick of it, and so he's going to tell us his journey. He's going to tell us his journey and how did he get sick of it? Because I think this is for the real men out there that because you know how you get like kind of put off by IG models, and the dudes be like shirts all 6-pack. You like, if you want to do this, wake up at 4:00 in the morning. It's like, man, what if I ain't got 4:00 in the morning? So we're gonna hear his journey, man. Let's give it for Jermaine Hughes, y'all. Let's give it for this guy, because we about to get this thing started. All right, man. So kick us off, man. How did it all start? Where were you? What's the origin story of this journey?
Man, I would say the very first thing I want to mention is that before my wife was pregnant, we were part of a hiking group, and we were hiking, I would say, at least 2 to 3 times a month, if not each Saturday. And so we were both, pretty active and doing our best to stay active. That was following the pandemic, right? The pandemic was a time where, everything stopped, and that was a period where I was like, oh no, we can't, we can't do this. Oh, it was just snacking and sitting at home and snacking and sitting at home. And so once she got pregnant, slowly but surely, we didn't have she didn't feel as comfortable hiking, didn't feel as comfortable, going up the hills and down the hills. Things started to hurt. And so it was like, okay, I'm going to just be supportive and be encouraging and try to, just be with you. And slowly but surely, this shirt don't really fit like it used to. And that shirt don't really fit like it used to. And these pants don't really fit. And now those shorts do not fit. I need some more shorts now. And but again, the baby's getting closer, she's getting bigger and stuff. And we're feeling the kicks and all that, and inside the stomach. And so it was just, a really a time where we were really focused just on the baby and how she was doing. And the summer came. The baby came in late July, but in terms of the baby shower and just hanging out with friends and so on and so forth, the 4th of July came, And I'm seeing pictures. We actually, so this is one of the big moments was that we were at the 4th of July celebration, a few blocks away from our house, and we didn't have a blanket. We didn't have enough blankets, so I go ahead and I go get a blanket, and I'm walking back to the house, and my thighs are rubbing together. And it's about, honestly, like between the house and then going back to the park that we were at, it's like a good mile walk. And slowly but surely, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this, it's itching so bad. Like my skin is getting irritated. And then I was like, I think I needed to tie my shoe. And I went to go tie my shoe, and I couldn't tie it without holding my breath. Like I had to suck it all in and get down there and then tie it and like get back up before I could start breathing again. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, man, this is horrible. Like all I'm doing is walking, and this is like a difficult walk to take. Like we haven't been like moving at all. And I was like, when this baby comes, it is on. It is on. Like I gotta burn all this off. And the last thing I want to mention, we had the baby maybe uh, 2 months after we had the baby. We went to church because we hadn't been able to go to church for a minute. Go to the church, and people are just so excited to see the baby and see us. Oh my gosh, you guys got the baby! And they're just, everything's cute, joyous, happy. And then they look at me and they're like, "Oh, I am not playing." I've explained this to a couple people, and one person said, "Man, I'm sorry that happened to you. That did not happen to me. That was not my experience." But there have been other folks that were like, "Oh yeah, they will call you out real quick." They give all the wives all the compliments, all the new mom compliments. "Oh, you look amazing. Well, you just glowing. Oh my gosh, and the baby, this is just so adorable. You're amazing, blah, blah, blah." And then look at you like you just like
What happened to
like
you, bro?
you ain't nobody and you ain't good for nothing. And they just started picking. I mean, like, oh my
Oh
God,
man.
Jermaine, why are you gaining weight? And why did you? And I'm thinking, like, you're not surprised. Like, you know, right? You know why I gained weight. You know why I haven't been exercising. I'm trying to be here, right? Believe me, I could steal away. I could go get a quick little, hour workout in. But I figure that's not the best thing to do if my wife is pregnant on the couch. But the lack of mercy
Mm.
and the lack of grace, it was just like, all right, okay, all right, cool. Don't front, don't front in 4 to 6 months when I get back right, and then you ain't got nothing else to say about that, right? And so yeah, honestly, I was just like, I gotta get back into some routine. And fortunately, this isn't my first, if you will, first rodeo, so I did know how to get involved in working out again. Honestly, I have a bunch of workout equipment at home again due to the pandemic. Knowing that all the gyms were closed, I bought all kinds of equipment, and so it was just a matter of committing myself to go downstairs, doing something. And so when I first
Yeah.
started working out, I was working out down the street outside. And I was using all this equipment, just trying to get some type of routine down. Try to run, I would try to walk, I would try to do a couple squats here, a couple crunches there, a couple push ups, just anything to get my body going in the morning. And that was cool. I think I was probably working out around 6 o'clock, and this was all around when my wife was still at home. So she was, waking up, taking care of the baby, on leave, and I was as well. So I was like, okay, let me get up and get out you guys' way. And so let me just speak to that for a second, because there was a part where I felt really useless. In the very first days, because there wasn't a lot that the baby needed me for, right? All the baby really wanted was to be changed and to eat, and the baby didn't like being changed, and so it was like, okay, I am just in the way, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. If y'all need me to take care of some errands, I'll do that, but I'm gonna get out y'all way. and I'm gonna go work out. I'll go to the store afterwards and bring some stuff home for y'all. But that was a real
Mm.
mental kind of struggle for me to feel like, there was this new life here and they didn't really need you,
Yeah.
and the wife didn't really need like a whole lot from you except kind of like, can you get this for me, or go grab that, can you get the
Right.
diaper, and blah blah blah. And so part of me was like, I need to fill up this space with this interest in working out, because I was like, I really don't know what what to do half the
Mm.
time. Um, and so, yeah, it was just a matter of doing my best to stay active and increasingly trying to eat healthier. Again, we were doing a lot of DoorDash, which was a real
Yep.
blessing. We were doing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Instacart, which was a real blessing
It's a
when
real
we
blessing.
couldn't move. But as time progressed, it was like, oh man, like this is actually costing a little bit more. We got to get back into the routine of cooking more. We have to get back into the routine of eating less. Um, I would say less processed food, try to
Mm-hmm.
do more of our stuff in the kitchen. And so it was a real, uh, I would say, honestly, a roller coaster in terms of trying to eat healthy in a way that worked with other people's diet in the household.
Yeah.
We currently have a 13-year-old, and she's much more partial to trying to like make sure that he feels included
Yeah.
in the diet. Uh, but for me, because of how I can be about health, I'm really like, as long as it's healthy, you don't even really gotta like it. Like, I don't know about you and your household growing up, Herbert, you could explain a little bit, but I didn't get like a whole lot of options. It was like,
Nah.
this is what we eating for dinner, and
Yeah.
this is what we eating for dinner.
Like
It's
you
not
eat or
like,
you
okay,
go to
this is
bed
what you
hungry.
gonna eat for dinner.
That's it.
And it's what we gonna eat. It was like, this is what we got. We got this rice. We got these vegetables. We got this as our meat. Um, there you go. And we're in a whole different generation now, right? We got a whole
Mm-hmm.
different situation. And so, um, when it came for you, or it came to you, did you feel like, yeah, was eating at home? Was you guys having different meals for different people, or how was that for you
Talking about
growing
when
up?
I grew up? You talking about when I
Yeah,
grew up? No. No, we didn't have
yeah.
options. No, we ate what was on the table and had to eat it all. Actually, went to the point of you better sit here and eat it. Like everybody else done, and you got to sit there and you got to eat these greens and that you didn't like at the time. You know,
You
this
know,
broccoli, and that was it. With no other
that
meals
was it.
prepared.
That was it, right? And so just because that's more of what I'm used to, my whole thing is like, hey, this is what it is. Um, you know, you got to eat what we're eating. And, we had some variations. So what we ended up started doing is trying to find ways to meet in the middle ground, if you will. Okay, this is what we like. This is what you like. This is what is most healthy. This is a little less healthy, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still healthy. We started doing some vegetarian meals. We started doing some like impossible meats, and the way that it tastes. Okay, this
Okay.
is good for you. You can feel that. I'm
Now
more
who's
into.
vegetarian?
So I would say we really started to lean towards that in October. We did that really heavy, I would say, until December. Right before we went, I would say before, but more so when we went to Dubai.
Okay.
Didn't really stick to the no meat thing, especially, well, there's a lot of restaurants, we couldn't do a whole lot of cooking there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would say that too. They have a lot less options in terms of meats, right? Like they don't have any pork there, so there's no bacon, no pork
Yeah. No
bacon
pork.
there. All the bacon was beef. And so when we did have stuff from the grocery stores, like it was just different options.
Hmm.
Um, and so when we got back, I was like, okay, I'm trying to figure this stuff out still. Weighed in. I met with a nutritionist. I met with a personal trainer, and did like the body fat measurements and all this stuff. And honestly, a big motivation for it all was, one, the Dubai trip, but then two, it was knowing that I was turning 40 in last December. And so I knew that when I turned 30, I remember being like, man, like I really want to be in shape by the time I'm 40, or not by the time I'm 40. I want to still be in shape when I'm 40. But even now, I'm thinking like I want to still be in shape when I'm 50. So there's a part of my mind where I'm like, I really want to make sure that I'm setting myself up with healthy habits,
Yeah.
healthy lifestyle, and so forth. And so that also was a big motivation for me to get in shape and
Yeah.
to get back in shape. Um, but
So, so let me ask
yeah.
you this.
Mhm.
To I guess to go back on, kind of how all this started, and you noticed the shorts fitting tight. You noticed the shirts became extra medium, and they don't fit the way it used to. What's the I guess my question is, where is your mental state at this point? Because if you guys don't know, and first let me clear up two things. The background's different because my wife is also doing a podcast, so I'm in the bedroom. But number two is Jermaine and I, we went to Bible college together. And I never could envision Jermaine being fat at all. It's like even if he tried, he was like 120 pounds soaking wet. So as you're talking about as he's talking about getting big, that must weigh on your mental a bit. So mentally, how did
Yeah.
that really play on you? Like you're at a size or you're at a shape that you're not really
Yeah.
used to.
Yeah. It really hit me pretty hard. I would say that while it wasn't something that I was focused on because the baby was on the way, it definitely didn't feel good. The examples that I gave at first were ones that were those moments where it was like, okay, it's hitting me like pretty heavy right now. Again, being at the church and people being, letting me know like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you're gaining too much weight. Don't get too big. Blah blah blah. Things like that. It really messed with me. One, like you said, because I have historically been like super skinny. Um, and then two, I do have overweight relatives, and friends and stuff like this that I've seen where I go, oh snap, like I want to make sure that as I get older, this isn't normal, right? Because honestly, for a lot of folks, it is, right? I think that there's a lot of folks that we see who are
Yeah.
older as they age. It's just natural that they get either not just a little bit bigger or just get pretty big. Um, and because it was so normalized in my family, I feel like it's like something that I really want to catch early,
Mm-hmm.
and deal with successfully, right? So like even what I was just saying, there's a part of me that's thinking, okay, whatever we're doing right now, we want to have to some degree a relationship to this activity,
Yeah.
this attitude, and this eating habits 10 years from now, you know? And so that's how I'm looking at it. Like, I do definitely want to have, be able to take certain pictures in the summer and be like, yo, we out here. But I'm really also thinking, okay, that's going to be real nice. But if you don't do that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that ain't really the flex. The flex is, can you maintain this? Can you keep this
Yeah.
up for the long term?
Do you know people that in their 50s and their 60s? Because I know me, growing up, there wasn't as many people as there are now that's really conscious of their weight and their health. Like at 50 and
Hmm.
60, you saw them kind of limping, all my body and this and that. And so when I see people now like fit, still doing stuff 60, 70, 80, that kind of plays on my mind too. Like, man, I'm about to be 40 and,
Hmm.
how am I going to get there? Because I know it starts here, at
Right.
this point. And so, how did you gain a habit? Like, so you say you have some exercise equipment
Hmm.
downstairs, right? So,
Hmm.
what did it really take for you to build that routine? Because I know a lot of men out there, it's like they want to do it. They got a wife, kids, they got a job. What are some steps that you took to make this a habit?
Yeah. So one thing I want to say, you asked a quick question right before that in terms of the folks who are older.
Yeah.
One thing that I did find during the pandemic with the hiking group. was that it really did attract a lot of older folks. Um, and in that group, I mean, whether we're talking about early, I'm sorry, late 40s, early 50s, late 50s, early 60s, I see folks who are in there who are in shape, um, intentionally in shape at that age, not on some like, oh, I'm just lucky. God gave me, a thin body. I just been able to rock with this. These are people who work really hard.
Right.
I would say sometimes rather hard to stay in shape.
Mm.
And so that's definitely some things that I have seen in person that have motivated me. Um, in terms of getting a routine down, I think the biggest thing was just finding the time. No doubt there's going to be some pull, whether it's emotionally or there is a person, whether it's our wife, whether it's our child, there's going to be some pull to have you around and have you available at all
Right.
times of the day. But if you can find a time where it would be the least um, complicated, the least
Mm-hmm.
controversial to do something, because honestly, whether it's a 20-minute workout, a 30-minute workout, or an hour workout, or
Mm.
even more, um, just intentionally using that time. And it draws my mind back to the book Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book Atomic Habits, they talk about just using that time. It's not even about, again, getting the weights of the first day. It's not about doing the hardest thing the first day, but it's about just using that time, doing something, and building on that something. So if it's just a walk, then walk for as long as you can, and as time gets on, well, jog a little bit. You
Mm.
ain't got to jog the whole time. Jog a little bit, okay, a little bit. A couple weeks later, a few weeks later, do a little bit more, and just build upon that. But it first takes looking for the opportune times, and then taking advantage of those. Um, the second thing I would just add to that is just making it easy for yourself. And so, like I said, we have a park that's really close to us, but I have all this equipment downstairs as well. So it's not like I have to drive to 24-hour fitness
Mm-hmm.
or go all the way to Planet Fitness. I could literally do some things in my house. And do the best that I can with what I have. And so doing, like I said, making it easy for yourself, however close it can be to your house, um, finding a way to get active um, at a place that is really near to your house is the
Mm-hmm.
best thing.
Yeah, man. I think that's key. And what you
Mhm.
said is taking a little step at a time. Because I feel like what gets me is like trying to get it all back at once. Like trying to
Right.
go and I'm gonna do upper body, lower body, and I'm gonna run today.
Mm,
You know,
today.
right? Or I'm gonna go for a week straight. Like I haven't worked out in a while, but let me go for a week straight. And that sounds good, but then you
Hmm.
don't do it the next day. Like, oh well, I'm not gonna get in shape, tomorrow. So what's the big
Yeah.
deal going today? Like, I
Yeah.
guess seeing that little progress, the small times, and I think something else you said was key was finding the time that you're less needed, and I
Hmm.
think for me that's the evening. Now I don't know about you fellas, the time that works for you. I think everyone has to find a time that works for them, to get out there. Because I had a friend that said, like, man, to get in shape, you kind of got to be selfish, because you got your
Hmm.
job, your wife, you want to communicate, talk, sometimes. Then you got, the kids that want your attention. They want to talk to you, want to wrestle and everything else like that. Then it's bedtime and everything else. And then before you know, it's like 8 o'clock, 8:15. Like for us in our house, like 6 o'clock is rush hour, dinner,
Hmm.
done with that, cleaning up, bedtime, bath time, brushing your teeth, bedtime story, all that. And before you know it, it's, 8 o'clock. And now, do you
Right,
really feel
right,
like going to the gym at 8 p.m.? You're exhausted at that time. I just
right.
speak for myself. So I think picking up those habits are good. Um, but
Hmm.
what would you say to that person that, or, to the man who, how can I put it? So, going through that phase of, yes, the meal trains and the door dashes are great, but what do you say to that person that's trying to break that habit of what was built when the baby was coming, when everybody wants to bless you with food and dinner and everything else that's coming your way? You ain't got to pay for nothing. How do you
Hmm.
break that habit?
I would say shopping, and just bringing in something healthy at the house that you can start intentionally eating on, whether it's um, a certain meal, whether it's just for breakfast or something like, or for lunch or for dinner, whatever it is, or even a snack,
Yeah.
honestly, when we would go to Costco and get these little chocolate chip cookies, I don't know if y'all got them over there, man, but there's these, these little ones. I mean, they could mess up a whole situation
Mm,
because it's that one snack.
keep popping.
And you leave it right there on the counter all day. I'm talking about it ain't gonna last about at least about at most 4 days.
Mm,
Definitely not gonna last a week. And just thinking, okay, like what's something that I could eat that's healthy, that if we have it here, one, I like it, and then two, if I partake of it, I feel better about what I put into my body, you
mm-hmm.
know? And that could be vegetables, right? But it could be fruit, honestly.
You like
Or
grapes?
it could be a certain type of meat that is less, either less processed or less fatty,
Yeah.
but just having something that you begin to intentionally have around and try to consume it. Um, but we're at this time we are cooking a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
What we started doing, one thing that, because when I got my personal trainer, the first personal trainer I got was actually training for bodybuilding, which
Oh,
honestly I
wow.
wasn't ready, but I'm glad that I had her. But she really emphasized eating meat and eating, um, if you will, whole foods. And so what I started doing was buying cooked chicken rather than buying chicken and cooking it at home, because it was a lot to eat. It was a lot of, like, it was very frequently eating these things. I would buy things that were already cooked.
Mm,
And so just for the folks who again aren't in the routine, okay, we got to make all this, and I've been used to just stuff arriving to the door, open it up, it's just taking care of it. Buy some cooked food, buy some cooked chicken, buy some cooked beef, whatever that is. All you got to do is warm it up. They have that for rice, they have that for vegetables, whatever it is, and make it easier for yourself to consume it rather than being like, okay, we got all these raw vegetables and raw meat in our kitchen. We got to go cook all this stuff. It's going to
mm-hmm.
take about a good 45 minutes to get this and cut it up and, season it, all that stuff. If you buy it cooked already, you can divide it up, whatever you want to do. It's already delicious. All you got
Mm,
to do is warm it up. And that definitely was a hack that helped me, not just in terms of eating healthier meats and
right.
healthier foods, but feeling less burdened by the need to cook it all, especially if I needed to eat a good amount of it. Because my diet asks for it, and so that definitely is a cheat code, if you will, in terms of having healthy food in the house, but not having to go through all of the work of cooking it all.
Mm. So I think we got a few tips from here. So I would say, getting active, building some habits, small habits. And the best one yet, get some food that's already cooked. Get
Hmm.
some food that's already cooked, chop it up. Because meal prep, my wife does that, and you can see how long it takes. And you're cooking this and you're cooking that, and then you got to separate them. And some people enjoy it. Maybe some people enjoy it, but
Right,
for
right.
the person who's just like, man, this is for the birds. I'm never going to get small because I'm not
Right.
going to be in there cooking for a whole hour to not
Hmm.
eat it today, but like break it up into 5 days. I
Yeah.
think that, and that's something I honestly never thought about. For
Hmm.
real. Yeah, I wish I'd have
Yeah.
thought about that, back when I was eating up all the Grub Hubs and stuff and Door Dashes
Right.
and everything. I
It's
think,
real.
I think every man, I think this is really good to hear because number one, it doesn't require you to meet a particular standard. Like you're going at your own pace as long as you're moving. And I know we
Right.
compare ourselves a lot. Like I said earlier, we turn on Instagram, everybody's doing crazy stuff in the gym. They ripped up, and
Hmm.
you're like, dang, I would love to get there. But from that to there, from where I am now, I
Hmm.
don't think that's happening. Like that's just not. I'm
Right.
just a regular body guy. And that's just how it's gonna be.
Hmm.
So now that you have, how much weight have you lost since then?
I would honestly say about probably like 40 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And that's since September. And so
Okay.
it wasn't like just a few weeks or a few months. It's been about a good 8 months or so. But yeah,
40 pounds. So how you
hmm
feeling now?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. Again, I definitely feel like, I'm where I want to be. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that where I'm at right now was basically the goal weight. Um, the the question, or if you will, the dilemma now is like we were just talking about, is how do I maintain this? How do I set myself up to
Yeah.
do better by September or better by next December, rather than slowly start to fall backwards because
Mm-hmm.
I'm where I want to be. I'm buying the clothes that, the size that I want to buy, wearing the stuff that I want to wear. Okay, I'm like, this is good stuff here. How do I make sure that I'm setting uh, a higher goal, or um, something that's going to pull me forward rather than like slowly let
Right.
me just fall backwards?
Yeah, because that's easy to reward yourself, right? I done did
Exactly,
all
especially
this.
with the summer and the vacations and
Yeah.
all of that. Like, it is definitely time to just fall all the way off.
Mm-hmm. But I guess, is the vacation the time to where you just kind of like, is it like, I'm going to eat this exotic food. I'm going to eat all that I can, but it's like, is the plan that when I return, we're going right back to what we were doing?
Definitely, but see, the thing is, what I noticed. So I was training once. I think maybe 2018. I was training, and what I noticed is that the vacation is one of the motivations to get you all the way up to the vacation.
Yeah.
So all the sacrificing that you have to do, all the eating different, all the exercising, it's all building up so you could take that beach photo. You could take
Mm-hmm.
that, photo in the waves and the sun and the whole thing, and be like, that's it right there. But once you take that photo,
So right.
I'm so serious. Once you have that one good day in the sun without, all the clothes on or whatever, and you start to get back home and you don't have another trip planned, you don't have another big milestone, whether it's a wedding or a birthday or a cruise. I'm talking about like you just aren't as motivated. So
Mm.
it's not even like you don't want to keep eating healthy. Like, yeah, I could keep eating healthy, but it's like, I mean, why not just have a little bit more of a cheat day, right? Or a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more of a cheat meal. It's like, okay, before I wasn't doing like this much pizza, but right now, I mean, look,
Right.
took the picture. So we
Right.
good for a good, we
Ain't
good
nobody
until
else gonna
next
see
summer.
me. I'm good. I got to the goal. I took
I
that
got to
picture.
the goal.
The sun was
I
just
took the
right.
picture.
My arm got cut. You know what I'm saying? And now, since that's over, it's a wrap.
It's good. And so, and honestly, I feel like just like what was going on with the baby, like people aren't, honestly, this day and age, right? People aren't super judging, right?
Mm-mm.
They're
Yeah.
not gonna get on you until it's to a point where it's like, yo, like what, whoa, 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 okay, let's calm down, right? But honestly, after a certain point, they may even just be like, "Look, that's what it is. Ain't nobody even gonna bug you about it." And so because of that, the lack of motivation, because of the trips or whatever, my mind, it either says I have to set up another trip. Like, just, it don't even have to be in a different country. You know what I mean? It don't have to be in a different state. It could just literally be, we plan to go somewhere and I have to look good for that
Right.
trip too. Um, or planning something, whether, because I've done a couple Spartan races, so some, even just something that makes you say, I can't let up. I got to at least maintain where I'm at,
Mm,
but I have to put something in front of me. I'm thinking about, the dangling carrot too, right? But
mm.
just putting something in front of you that makes you say, okay, this is going to keep me motivated to not do the most. Okay, yeah, we were at Costco, but I'm not going to get the cookies,
Or the
right?
muffins. You ever get those assorted
Those
muffins?
big old muffins,
The
yeah.
whole chocolate, the sesame seed, the
Right.
blueberry, the man.
Banana,
See,
man,
look,
you
man,
know
we
what I
about to make
mean?
somebody fall back. Like, I'm going to
Like,
Costco.
matter of fact,
Get the what's them
like,
cookies he's talking about? I want some. I want some little cookies. Let me go. I go get some cookies.
man,
Yeah,
oh
man.
man.
It's just like that, though, man. You think about all the good stuff. Like I heard somebody say, like, man, I just want to be skinny without the work. Like, can I just do that, eat what I
Right.
want, and then just stay small?
Right, right. And honestly, I think it's a gift until, because our bodies do change.
Yeah,
I think it's a gift until you're not ready for the body change. And the body is not asking you, get it changed. The body starts changing and you're not in the routine of having to. And that's how I feel for me too. I feel like I'm surprised by the extent to which I have to fight to
yeah,
lose weight. Because at one point in time it was such a fight to gain anything. So when now I feel like I have to fight to maintain where I'm at. And while I don't like it, I'm used to it to a certain degree now. Now I'm like, okay, I'm
yeah,
accepting. If I don't actively do this, I'm gonna get bigger. I may not get, as big as everybody else, but I will get bigger and it will definitely affect how I feel about,
yeah,
myself, and it definitely messes with my standards, right? Of like, okay, I don't want to be that big.
yeah.
But I definitely feel like, the folks who have that whatever metabolism or whatever it is that allows them to stay skinny, it's a blessing. And we just got to pray you keep it until you 80.
Mm-hmm.
Because stuff, my dad would say, man, stuff changes after 40, stuff changes after 50, I've heard. And so I think the sooner you learn to accept that at some point, I'm gonna start being, gaining more weight than I want to, the more you could get into it, a lifestyle of being like, this is just what I have to do. I don't work out every day because I want to work out, but I do know that if I have a regular routine, it'll keep me in a place that I'll be happy, whether we're at the beach or not, you know.
Right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think the real thing is like, how do you feel about yourself? Like
Hmm.
getting past the photos, getting past how people see you. Because
Hmm.
again, like you said, they're gonna make you aware of it, but after a while, it's kind of like sitting in the house with a bad smell. You just get
Right.
used to it. Like that's who they
Yeah.
are. You don't even think about it no more. But
Hmm.
who still thinks about it is you. You still think about it. You look at yourself in the
Yeah.
mirror, how you were. And isn't it like crazy? Like at the times you thought you was beating yourself up because you thought you were out of shape then, and you look back like, man, I was actually really small then, but I'm really out of shape now. So it's
Right.
like I gotta really, like you said, fight to keep it off because high school days are over, and I feel like a lot of people can't get that through their mind because of how our body used to respond, or really how much we worked
Yeah.
out because of PE, and then we
Hmm.
kept the same eating habits without the working out, and
Man.
it just I don't know because I wasn't introduced to working out when I was, like my family didn't talk about it, and they weren't making me mindful. It was what it was, you know what I'm saying? And
Right. Right.
but now, what I'm saying, as a grown man, as like you said, I'm not working out every day because I just want to. Like I have to. Our
Yeah.
bodies are going to do whatever it wants if we So I'm trying to get on that train. I'm not there yet. Everybody let y'all know I'm not there yet. Just so don't be like, man, this dude got no. Like I went today, but am I gonna go again this week? I don't know. My wife is going out of town. I got the kids. So now what I'm gonna do? Huh? I ain't got no
Right, right.
equipment. So now do calisthenics come into play? Push ups, jumping jacks.
Right. No, that's real, man. It's a whole other battle to do this, get in shape and stuff with a family,
Yeah,
with your wife being present. I knew that when I first got in shape, or like really good shape, was when I was single. And I thought that, okay, I gotta get me a little girlfriend. Okay, we have a situation. We're gonna be all right. Yeah, I'm gonna be good. It's, all I gotta do is what I did. And I mean, it was a completely different world. Again, trying to
yeah,
compromise with their diet, trying to compromise with their time, your time. Okay, what time do we have together? It was just, schedules was a whole big situation. And so I definitely empathize with the folks who um, are, married and so forth, and the partner is like, where you going?
yeah.
Like when you coming back, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not exactly juiced that you're going to work out. I mean, my wife right now, she's been really good, because I feel like the baby preoccupies her, so she's not like, yo, like I'm just sitting here by myself. I'm like, the baby
Mm-mm.
is like, nope, I'm right here. I'm grabbing your ear, I'm I'm climbing
Mm-hmm.
all over you. Um, but there were those times before the baby where it was like, man, like it's really hard to find that time, because she wants this time, and then when she doesn't want time, then I only have so much time to myself.
Yeah,
But like you said earlier about the selfishness part, more than I feel like it's definitely, there has to be an element of selfishness. Um, but I think that it just has to be some level of time for yourself
yeah,
that you are willing to fight for. And
absolutely.
I don't want to say that because it sounds so bad to say you're going to have to fight for it. But depending on, how you and your girl rock, you might have to really fight for it. You
Might
might
have to
have
fight.
to speed certain things up and slow other things down. You might have to argue a little bit. I mean, it's going to be a few discussions. It may not be quiet discussions all the time,
Yeah,
but at some point, you do have to go, look, all I'm asking for is this little block of time, but you got to give me that block of time. I've been in times where I'm working out and she talking to me the whole time, and I'm like, don't get me wrong. I know you're going to take this the wrong way.
mm-hmm.
But if you don't get out this room,
Right, man.
if you don't go upstairs and let me get these reps in, like, oh my God, like I can't do this and talk to you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening to me? No, I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening. You have to go. I'll be up there in 30 minutes. Uh, but yes, it's definitely an element, not only of wanting something for yourself, but you have to be willing to fight for it.
Right.
Unfortunately, at times.
Yeah. And I feel like to wrap everything up, man, appreciate your time. But I think they or whomever will take it serious when I think you are. Like when you showing like, okay, this is what they do. He's going to work out. He's consistently doing that. And I think it
Hmm.
becomes like, okay, this is a part of life. But I believe this is just my own understanding that if you're off and on here and there,
Mm,
it doesn't really stick in their mind.
mm,
Like
hmm.
this is what's going to happen. So the fact that
Hmm.
I think that serious stand, like, hey, no, I'm not at this time. I'm really not listening. But this is my time. Can I get this? I think when you find that spot, keep it. Don't let it go. Don't fall off because
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, well, this is they regularly come home, and do
Hmm.
other things. But if you regularly go work out on these set days and keep it,
Hmm.
then I think people are going to expect that. Now, listen, man, we gonna close this out, but man, just real quick, been looking at your hat, and if y'all don't know, man, he is the creator of that, can you just let us know how can we get a hat like that, man? How can we, is it site? Where can we go?
Yeah, so I have a Instagram page called Tops Off Hats. It's TOPSOFFHATS. And as you can imagine, I haven't been making as many hats lately. Again, when she was pregnant, oh man, I was kicking them out. When the
Mm,
baby's here, now I'm like slowly but surely being able to make them. Um, but yeah, I do make them at home. Some of these, like this one, is one that is just like, if you will, remixed from one that I just purchased, like on
yeah,
Amazon. But then I do also get ones that I just purchase the fabric and I can shape it and do whatever I want to with it. Um, so I do both of those, but they are pictured on Instagram, Tops Off Hats, and
Tops
yeah,
off.
you could even just reach out on there and inquire about different styles that I've done and so forth. I do use different fabrics, different if you will, materials and things, and so there's a good variation of what is possible. But yeah, that's my hat stuff right there.
Yeah, you got a dope one with the Golden State Warriors hat with all the championship
Yeah,
years on there.
yeah, yeah.
Is that one for sale?
Yeah, I mean, I can make them. I'll say that because what I don't want to do is be like, yeah, take the one I got, and
No,
be like, oh shoot, what if we start winning next year? You feel me?
you got
But
man. Yeah. Well,
you just
hopefully
came for us so fast. But I listen. We've been dealing with this, so we
we just
know
spoiled. I think we spoiled. I mean, what
it's
team do
real.
you know in your era, outside of the Chicago Bulls and people in the '90s, uh, win multiple championships while you're living that you can actually see
Exactly.
in your city? That
Exactly. In
that
your
memory goes.
city, right?
Yeah,
Like that's a blessing.
it is, man. And I
That
never
is a
thought it would
blessing.
happen. And then when like they started winning when I moved from Oakland,
Oh wow.
so I haven't been to not one Warriors game since Curry. Period.
You ain't been to one parade?
Not one parade.
Oh my gosh,
Not
that
one
is so
game.
scandalous.
All watching from Illinois.
Uh-huh.
All the champions. Wait, did they win? Was I here? What year did they win against? Oh, I was here in North
hmm
Carolina. Yeah,
hmm
when they won that other one against Boston.
Right. Yeah, that was just a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was right
man.
here.
That's super crazy. And what I acknowledge, because when we were little, the way that Michael Jordan made it sound and feel, you thought that the Bulls would be winning with or without him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just made it look like, dude, like they were just winners, and they ain't been back since.
Yeah, it's a
So,
wrap.
like you just said, like if somebody has a time, like it's a blessing because everybody don't get a chance.
Everybody don't.
Everybody, not only does everybody not get a chance, but everybody doesn't get a chance to go 2, 3 times, 4 times in that era.
Yeah.
Whatever the Nuggets do or don't do, whatever the Boston does, because they've gotten really close. I'm like, man, they got to pull one off one of these years because they just keep getting so close.
So close, man. I got some friends from Boston here, man, and they, waiting for that championship. The Warriors stood in the way, so they missed that one.
Right.
And now, so
Right.
maybe it's their year, man. But
Yeah.
look, man, appreciate you, man, for coming on. Thank you for sharing. You can also check us out on Instagram at dangling_carrot. You can also check us out on YouTube. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell at the Dangling Carrot Podcast. And there's no Facebook platform, just Instagram and YouTube. And then you got Tops Off Hats. You can go check them
hmm
out. Go copy one of those. I know I will. But as you heard, between working out and the baby, might not get it quick, but at least put a bug in his ear. You might start
Right.
cranking them
Right.
out again. Who knows? But appreciate
Right.
y'all.
Right.
Please subscribe. One love. What's it called that? Love, peace, and hair grease. And we out to the next one, y'all. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.